Hello. Amazon is one of the biggest tech companies in the world today. It is valued at more than $1.7 trillion, makes more than $385 billion in yearly revenue, and literally dominates the e-commerce industry. But even though Amazon is a brilliant company, its exponential growth wouldn't be possible if it did not buy some of the biggest and most innovative tech companies out there. Now, if you are curious to know which companies I am talking about, stay tuned, because that's exactly what you are about to discover. You are watching the top 10 most successful companies Amazon acquired. And in this video, I'm going to show you what are the top 10 most successful companies Amazon acquired, how much Amazon paid for them, and also why having bought them was a good idea in the first place. But before we begin, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. We here at Top 10 Luxury Edition are always uploading videos for you to take a sneak peek into the world of luxury. And if you like this type of content, also hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. And without further ado, here are the top 10 most successful companies Amazon acquired. Number 10. Audible. Audible was founded in 1998, and it is one of the internet's first audio streaming services. The company had lots of initial setbacks right after its inception, and it didn't rise to prominence until it made a deal with Apple to be the sole provider of audiobooks. And it was at that point that the company caught the attention of Jeff Bezos, who realized that he had to acquire it if he wanted to stay on top of the publishing business. And on 2008, 5 years after Audible's deal with Apple, Amazon acquired it for a whopping $300 million. Well, considering that Audible today has tens of millions of people subscribed to its service, makes tens of billions in yearly revenue, and literally dominates the audiobook publishing market, buying it for $300 million was a no-brainer. Number 9. Annapurna Labs. Annapurna Labs is an Israeli startup that focuses on manufacturing advanced microchips and semiconductors. Now, Annapurna Labs has always been a very secretive company. They rarely disclose information about their operations, upcoming project launches, and research. So, besides the fact that it employs some of the best and most talented people in tech, not much is known about them. However, word got around that they were coming up with a breakthrough new technology in the microelectronics field, and it was at that point that this secretive tech startup caught the attention of Jeff Bezos, who decided to buy it. And besides its whopping $350 million price tag, no details about the deal were disclosed, not even what Amazon plans to do with the company. Some people speculate that Amazon bought it to improve the efficiency of their data centers and expand the reach of Amazon Web Services, Amazon's cloud computing subcompany. And it seems to be true, since the cost of Amazon Web Services has dropped substantially, while its user base grew by the tens of millions, thus allowing Amazon to dominate an even bigger market share of the cloud computing market. Number 8. Souq. Souq is an extremely successful e-commerce company headquartered in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. At its peak, Souq employed 2,000 people, made hundreds of millions of dollars in yearly revenue, and was valued at more than $1 billion, which is quite a lot for a Middle Eastern company. In fact, it even used to be known as the Amazon of the Middle East. The only problem was that it stood in the way of Amazon's plan for complete domination of the e-commerce industry. And so they decided to buy out Souq in order to spearhead their way into Middle Eastern markets. As is usual with most deals from Amazon, they haven't disclosed much information about it, but what we do know is that they paid a whopping $580 million for Souq, which was more than worth it. After all, Souq, which was rebranded as Amazon.ae, now makes more than $1 billion in yearly revenue and is a leader of the Middle Eastern e-commerce market. What's more, Amazon is now using its newfound success in the Middle East to start rolling out its other services in the region. So it is very likely that Souq will turn into an even bigger profit center for Amazon. Number 7. Kiva Systems. Founded in 2003, Kiva Systems is a robotic startup that focuses on creating automated storage solutions. In other words, they create software and systems so that forklifts can manage billions of dollars worth of inventory on their own. The idea for the company came when one of the co-founders, who used to work in a warehouse, wanted to make the products come to him instead of having to search for them himself. Little did he know that big retailers were trying to figure out the exact same problem, and as soon as he launched the company, he started landing multi-million contracts with giants like Walgreens and Staples. Not long after, Jeff Bezos took notice of the company and instantly realized he had to buy it and keep this revolutionary competitive edge all for himself. And that's exactly what he did, paying more than $775 million for it. And today, under Amazon's control, Kiva Systems was rebranded as Amazon Robotics, and it is a key part of the entire Amazon supply chain, saving them more than $2 billion in inventory and personnel costs per year. Number 6. Twitch. Twitch is a video streaming platform that was founded in 2012. At the time, there were little to no streaming services focused on online games, and as such, the entire community of gamers and content creators flocked to it. Needless to say, Twitch experienced exponential growth during this period, reaching a user base of tens of millions of users in a span of several months. And it was at this point that everybody realized Twitch had a lot of potential, and so big tech companies started fighting tooth and nail for it. For instance, even Google tried to buy it, but the deal didn't go through because of antitrust laws. Not much after, Amazon jumped on the opportunity to buy Twitch, paying more than $970 million for it. Today, Twitch still dominates the game streaming market, with more than 30 million unique users per day, billions of hours watched per month, and making more than $2 billion in yearly revenue. Number 5. Ring. Ring is a home security company that focuses on creating automated home security systems. It was founded in 2013, and despite its unique product concept and talented employees, the company struggled to make ends meet in its early days. In fact, at one point, the company was on the brink of bankruptcy, and its CEO tried his luck on Shark Tank, a successful reality TV show where entrepreneurs present their products to renowned angel investors in search of capital. Unfortunately, he wasn't successful, but his newfound visibility brought him a few investors outside of Shark Tank, and the company managed to continue its operations. A few years later, the company also caught the attention of Jeff Bezos, who decided to buy it for a whopping $1.2 billion. Surprisingly, Amazon had no plans for the company at the time of the purchase, and they only bought it to be the leader of this new market segment in case it picked up steam. So there is no way to say yet if Amazon's plan will be successful, but if history is any guide, that's very likely. Number 4. Zoox. Founded in 2014, Zoox is an auto company focused on creating self-driving cars. Zoox is one of the pioneering companies of this new breakthrough industry, and they have already come up with a few successful self-driving models. However, critics, including Elon Musk himself, say Zoox's success was only possible because they hired some of Tesla's former employees, who brought with themselves important trade secrets. Well, whether that's true or not, we may never know, but what we do know is that Amazon bought it for a whopping $1.2 billion. And as soon as the deal was announced, Elon Musk called Jeff Bezos a copycat in a tweet. Now, Amazon bought Zoox in 2020, and up until now, it seems like they haven't done much with the company yet. But a few insiders have claimed that it might be on the verge of releasing a breakthrough new technology. And if this is true, it will send Amazon light years ahead of its competitors in the battle for dominance of the auto industry. Number 3. Zappos. Founded in 1999, Zappos was one of the first and most successful online retailers in the world. At its peak, it used to make more than $1 billion in yearly sales, dominate the shoe e-commerce market segment, and set the new standard for how online businesses should operate. However, the company started its operations very small, and it was extremely dependent on outside investors. Nevertheless, Zappos was growing exponentially, and everyone in the tech industry was watching in awe, including Jeff Bezos, who was dying to buy it. At first, the board of directors declined all of Bezos' offers, but as soon as the financial crisis of 2007 hit, bankers and investors stopped lending money, and Zappos saw itself at a crossroads. They could either continue operating as they always have and eventually run out of money, or sell the business to Amazon and cash in their chips while they could. Needless to say, selling it was the most sensible option, and that's exactly what the then CEO of the company did. Zappos ended up costing more than $1.3 billion for Amazon, which is not even that much if you consider that today, under Amazon's control, the company makes more than $2 billion in yearly revenue and still owns a huge share of the American online retail market. Number 2. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Studios. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Studios, or MGM for short, is an American media company founded way back in 1924. At its peak, it used to be the most profitable film company in the world, making more than $500 million per year from royalties alone, and have most of the sought-after Hollywood stars under contract. However, that's nothing but a distant memory now, because MGM has been struggling to make ends meet since the start of the century. Luckily for them, Amazon recently announced that they are acquiring the company for a whopping $8.5 billion. Now, the acquisition was announced earlier this year, so nobody can say yet if it was a bad deal or not. However, Amazon Prime Video user base increased by a few million users after the acquisition was announced, so as it seems, things are going great for Amazon. Number 1. Whole Foods. Founded in 1980 and headquartered in Austin, Texas, Whole Foods is one of the most successful retailers in the world. The company focused on selling only organic products, and at the time of its inception, this was a novel concept. And that's probably the reason why the company grew practically overnight with virtually no competition. At its peak, Whole Foods was making more than $100 million in profits per year, owned most of the market share of the organic foods retail segment, and was expanding its operations to international markets. The only problem was that competition soon started to catch up, and Whole Foods' profit margins suffered as a result, sending the company in a steep downward spiral. Luckily for them, Amazon saw that Whole Foods had the potential to help them dominate the retail industry, and so Bezos bought it for more than $13.7 billion. Fast forward to today, Whole Foods is under Amazon's control, and they now employ more than 91,000 people, make more than $16 billion in sales per year, and are a key player in Amazon's aggressive strategy for retail domination. Alright, and those were the top 10 most successful companies Amazon acquired. As you can see, Jeff Bezos has always been a visionary entrepreneur, buying most companies way before they reach their full potential and thus acquiring them for pennies on the dollar. Now, I want to hear from you. Which one of these companies do you think was Amazon's best acquisition? Let me know in the comment section down below. And that's all for today's video. Thanks for watching, and until next time.